certainly played, coached against him a lot over the years and had him now for a year plus. But what Jonathan Quick has done since he's gotten here at his age, do you kind of marvel at just the way that he plays? He doesn't really play like anybody plays nowadays, and he's still as successful as he ever was, it seems.
Yeah. I actually think that when he's at his best, he's so in control of the game, like he's so in the spot and ready to make the save. And that's what I've noticed since he's been here. I don't think that you get the career that he's had without being elite at your job. And I do think he's in that category his whole career. And so nothing really changes. He works hard every day in practice. He's an incredible teammate. And when called upon, he's given us some really, really quality games. And that's really beneficial, I think, for when you have a guy like Shesty that plays a decent amount of games. When you call the next guy up to go in there and he throws in the performances that he has over the past year and a quarter, it's pretty amazing. And so, again, you look at the game the other night. You mentioned it to him today. It was just an incredible performance, but completely shocking. I don't know. He's, like I said, he's been that goalie for a long time, and he threw in a great one the other night. He's thrown in a lot of good ones for us.
When you have both goalies playing at this level, how do you strategize to ensure that they both get good playing time and not equal starts, but just enough starts to where they're both fresh?
Yeah, I mean, even more impressive to Quickie's performance the other night is that he wasn't in the role. Shesty was on fire, and there wasn't a lot of games. There was a lot of practice time. There was a lot of days off, and yet he still stays sharp through practice. And like I said, him just being a pro for so many years, knowing how to be ready, and he goes in and he throws in a game like he did in Detroit. So it hasn't been what you're saying, and it will eventually, where games will start to heat up and we'll start taking down 8 games and 14 nights, and we're going to need more depth out of our lineup, including in the goaltending position.
A couple of weeks ago, you talked about the maturity of Will's game, kind of the elevation of it. When did you first start to maybe notice that, kind of in training camp, Will Cuylle, yeah? And how is that maybe?
That probably goes back to last year for a rookie. I mean, I mentioned it a bunch of times. He has a real good handle on the game, and just when you go back the next day and you're watching things, there's mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes out there. You try and fix them, you try and quiet them down. But he was a guy that we just found to be pretty detailed with his game. And I think there's a maturity to that. Being able to handle yourself in a rookie year, first year pro inside of a locker room with a lot of veterans. I think there's a maturity that goes with that as well. And so, just the way he's been off the ice, the way he practices, the way he's gone about his business is he's got that almost like a quiet confidence about what he's doing. He had that last year. We would notice that last year, and pretty solid year for a first year, and now he's building off of it.
When he has all the hits, right, like last year, and those have kind of continued this year, but the offensive side seems to have maybe gone up another level.
Yeah.
Just what maybe goes into?
I think that there's a natural progression with that. You'd like to think that somebody coming in their first year that scores a dozen goals, you'd like to think that there's an upside to that, and then probably an upside in the 4th or 5th year. It doesn't always keep climbing. There's peaks and valleys to it, but I just think that's a natural progression of growth. He's a guy that's put up points and has scored goals wherever he's been. So I would imagine that progression will take place here as well.
I know it's not early in the season, but we'll kind of test this tomorrow and where they can play.
Yeah, they're the top dogs in the league right now. I mean, they just set a record. Watched a little bit of them so far, just the way that they play, and I think it's justified, their record. There's no fluke to that. And so for us, it'll be a great test, great challenge. We're playing the best team in the league right now.
With all year long, you've had nothing but praise for that fourth line with Garrick and Edstrom and whoever was on the other side. They get a big goal for you Saturday night. Just what are you seeing out of those 3 guys in terms of, do they obviously, I guess, are giving you what you want from them?
Well, they give speed, they give energy, they give some physicality, they give good defensive play. They move us from the defensive zone to the offensive zone, and then they're able to stay down there and generate time and chances, and And it led to a big goal the other night with Jimmy. So I think that they've done positive things on the ice. Like when you watch them play, that's exactly what you see. It's not when you look at the numbers of what they're doing on the ice, that's what you see. And so, you know, we haven't. It's moved around a little bit between, you know, either Rempe or Johnny, whoever it might be, jumping in there. But that line has given us positive minutes.
Do you know, analytics and stats being what they are, do they still have to get you a goal once in a while to be effective, or could they be effective even if they didn't score that goal?
I think that they can definitely still be effective without scoring a goal. You know, I believe you can have a positive influence in the game, and if you're doing the right things and they generate 6 chances and it doesn't go in the net, well then, you know, if they're +6 in chances or +5 in chances, they did the right things that night. It didn't drop. Eventually, I believe those things will. They'll even out. As long as you're doing the right things, and usually good things follow.
All right. And one last on Zac Jones. I know you had some, I wasn't here Friday, but I read that you had some really nice public things to say about him. You know, what's he doing so well in these last few games that he's been in there, and you know, and the partnership with Schneider as well.
Yeah, I mean the deep pairings just moved around, and they still could move around, but Zach's come in and he's given us, I think, really good minutes. The puck's been on his stick. He's gotten us out of the defensive zone. He's jumped into the play offensively. When he's in the offensive zone, I find the puck on the stick and him looking for the next play. You know, his skating looks better and better every day. Looks good. Looks like he's getting more confidence, I think, with that. That's how it went for him last year too. I think just that as the season grew, his confidence grew, and so it's early, but there's definitely been some good things that he's brought to the table.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.